All right, Miss Jones-Bond, we getting ready to have a little bit of fun before we wrap it up here, okay? But just like every other guest this season, I can't just let you hop up in the ride and hop up out the ride without having a little fun with you revisit your dream style.
Okay.
So it's time for another installment of Off Top. Let's
Oh,
get it.
good grief. Okay.
All right, Crystle, here's how this goes. I call out the name of a person, place, or thing, and you tell us in 30 seconds or less the first thing that comes to mind off top. Got
I want
it?
to be in my mind. Okay. Come.
All right. It'll be pretty easy for you. All right, here we go. Off top, the Master Pioneer Awards.
The Master Pioneer Award was a very innovative experience. Something I screamed about when I first found out I was getting the award.
And just a little bit further for those watching and for me, because I did find this through searching your social media. What were the Master Pioneer Awards? What is that award presented for?
So it is a stylist award, stylist nominating stylist, which is, I mean, such a humbling experience because, you're amongst your peers and your peers telling you that you are a pioneer. Mine was more of the rookie coming into it, versus a lot of people that got theirs were legacy. They have been doing it. But for someone to say, okay, you're next, you're the rookie of the year, was phenomenal for me. It was such a huge honor. A lot of my relatives showed up in DC just to surprise me, and to see me win my award and dedicate it to my mom. And so I was floored to actually get that award, to, even be in spaces that people felt like I needed to get a Rookie of the Year award.
That's dope. That's so dope. Is that an event that occurs every year annually?
Every other year.
Every other year.
Mm-hmm.
That's even more exclusive. Even more exclusive. So very good. Congratulations to you. I know that was a huge honor. Anytime you're recognized, it's always an honor. But when you're recognized by your peers, man, that's saying something.
Yeah.
That's saying something. You're no longer an imposter. All right, cool. That was the Master Pioneer Awards. All right, off top, Black country music star Ashlie Amber.
Like I said, I wanted to play in her hair. So I told you the story of how we got connected. We've been connected ever since. And people that have loved her hair, she's always been like, hey, Crystle Jones-Bond does my hair. And it has been such a network of love. I've gotten so many opportunities just because of how outstanding she is. And my hairstyles are on her. So, I mean, I just love what I do. I really do.
That's so cool. That's so cool. Y'all go look up Ashlie Amber, and when you see her hairstyles, this woman right here, she pretty much did most of those hairstyles, I imagine. That's pretty awesome. All right, that was Black country music star Ashlie Amber. All right, next up, off top, Tuskegee University's ban on durags and bonnets.
I actually applaud that. I was raised by my grandparents, and my grandmother told me I couldn't leave the house without putting myself together. So walking out into the community now and seeing so many people in their pajamas and their slippers and their slides and sweatpants and the do-rags and their bonnets, I just feel like my grandmother is just rolling over in her grave. And so I actually do applaud it. I really do know that, you don't want to get ready in the morning. I was in college too. Don't think I'm judging. I knew what it took to, roll out of bed and put myself together, at least halfway decent. So I'm not judging, but I really think it allows them to go backwards a little bit. I think again, when I go to classes and stuff, I talk about professionalism. I talk about networking. I talk about all that type of stuff, and presenting yourself to the world in a way that will get you to the next moment. And when you're walking around in your sweatpants and your bonnet, there is no way a person is going to say, I want to hire them, or I want them to be an intern for me, or whatever. Because present yourself in a way that says you're prepared for the next level. So I really, really, really applaud that, to be honest.
Yeah. I'm glad you had a very sincere take on that subject matter. I applaud it as well. My mom, I grew up in a hairstylist household. My mom wouldn't let me go outside without combing my hair first, brushing my hair first, making sure I'm looking decent. And, when I got older, my dad was like, don't wear that do-rag out the house. Don't wear that do-rag. I was like, Dad, I'm just getting in the car. I'll take it off before I get to work. But yeah, he wasn't playing about that. So he was serious about it. So man, thank you for that. That was Tuskegee University's ban on do-rags and bonnets. All right. Next one, off top. The author of the book, My Leadership Legacy, Miss Monika Shotwell.
So off top, all love. Oh my gosh. We met. She was my client before she was my sister, play sister, and greatest friend. And to be honest, we sat years ago in my salon dreaming of these moments, talking about these moments like, hey, you should do this, you should do workshops, you should do this. And to be on the journey together and see each other thrive is, I mean, the most joyful thing. Just seeing each other blossom into great humans. Um, I'm so proud of her. I'm so proud of her. She's stepping out her comfort zone. And I told her then she has a lot to offer the world. So I'm excited because I see her doing her workshops in front of so many companies and getting paid a whole bunch of money for it, to help them get back to what leadership is and how to do organization in the company settings. Because I'm seeing a little lackadaisy there. So yeah, I will call her and say, "Hey, I was in your old store. They need you back."
They over here tripping, man. They need you back. They need that whip back in here. Man, that's awesome, man. I love Miss Mo so much. I only got a chance to work with her for about a year, a little over a year, at the hotel.
Yeah.
But she saw enough in me to, invite me to be a speaker at the leadership conferences that we mentioned earlier here in Murfreesboro. And I am also very proud of her. I'm glad to say I knew her before that book released. I'm not sure if I knew her before she started on the journey of writing it, but to hear about her in the process of creating that book and her mindset about leadership. I mean, I was the manager of the hotel. She was working with me. I don't say people working for me, but she was, I was the manager. She wasn't the manager, but man, she kept me on my toes. We had so many conversations about leadership and things like that. So I love Miss Mo. Thank you very much for that take on the author of the book, My Leadership Legacy, Miss Monika Shotwell. All right, next up, off top, Madam C.J. Walker.
Madam C.J. Walker. One of the very first women that I learned about that was iconic to the hair industry. And then Netflix did a whole movie on her, and Octavia slayed it. I mean, she just slayed it. And so I did reports on this woman when I was a kid, when they did Black History Month, because I already knew where I was going. I was going to go be Madam C.J. Walker. And then to learn there's so many other women that have been pioneers in this space just as long, but didn't get to say their name. Women that have done just as many great things and many Harlem. I think there was a Harlem lady that had her first multi-million-dollar salon. You know, it's there's so many that haven't been talked about, but there's so much that has formed this industry, and Madam C.J. Walker is one of them. If you walk into a black salon, you're gonna see a picture of Madam C.J. Walker. You're gonna see. I actually have a Barbie doll. I don't have a picture, but I have the Barbie of Madam C.J. Walker in my salon because it brings you, it grounds you to say, okay, this is where it started. This is somebody that uh, did this before social media, before anything that connected us. Um, she made a whole brand universal before any of that, and so it really grounds you to hear that name and humbles you to say, if she can do it when we had very limited resources, you can do it. And we got social media, we got DMs, we got email, we got so many things that can connect us now. So that's take on Madam C.J. Walker.
Yeah, thank you for that take on Madam C.J. Walker. You know, ironically, because I grew up in a household where my mom was a hairstylist, my grandmother was a hairstylist. I told you there was, on the weekends I would spend time with my grandmother. She lived right next door to me, but she owned the salon, so she wasn't working on the weekends. My mom was working on the weekends, but I also did reports on Madam C.J. Walker when I was in elementary school because of who my mom, my grandmother were.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they do a Black History Month. We got to do a book report. You gonna do Madam C.J. Walker? Like, okay, all right, Grammy, I got it. So yeah, so thank you for that take on Madam C.J. Walker. If y'all don't know, if y'all never heard that name, especially if you Black, I mean, I don't know, you tripping. You need to go look up Madam C.J. Walker, because she is the reason why there are Black hairstylists. She is the reason why you have Black hair care products. She is the reason why there's free enterprise centered around, Black people's hair. Madam C.J. Walker is. So thank you for that. All right, following that up, next up, off top, the Crown Act.
Oh, I love it. I love that women went to legislation to make sure that we are treated equally for the way our hair grows out of our scalp. I mean, I'm a natural hairstylist. It's my passion for curls. But I was relaxed once. I was relaxed for many, many years. Actually. Um, and there's nothing wrong with women that decide relaxer is for them. There's nothing wrong with women wearing braids and wearing locks and all of the things that our hair has so many versatility to do. And so when someone stepped up and said, this should not be a reason why you don't get promoted, this should not be a reason that the conduct in our handbook says unnatural looking styles. That kind of verbiage was different. It was limiting. And so when they put the Crown Act out, and California was the first to say, "Yeah, we don't go for that." You could have been at my house. I was celebrating.
Yeah. You like the 49ers won the Super Bowl. I know I'm in Tennessee, but hey, we won.
We won. Somebody said something for us. And so many other states decided to go ahead and sign it as well. And so now it gives us permission. It gives us places where we can show up as our authentic selves in so many different ways. Because it was really hurtful to hear women that wanted to have locks had to worry about being a lawyer and being taken seriously. And so they would literally like cut their locks off, become judges, and then grow their locks back, or that kind of thing. It was just disheartening to hear that you had to choose between what your hair did versus the job you had in this professional atmosphere. So I applaud it. I am here for it. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't, growing up as a kid, being around the shop, I've grew up seeing lots of women come into the shop getting their hair done. And most of the styles, so every now and then there'll be some kind of relaxed styles, but most of them was like pressing curls or, just straightening the hair up, and they come in there and the hair be like this and they leave and the hair is all like, man, I know what that smell. I know that smell. I know the irons, the combs, the hot combs, man, all that stuff, man, so familiar to me. But and I do recall at times hearing conversations where people would say to my mom or my grandmother, I can't go to work like this. I got to get this done. I got to be at work tomorrow.
Mhm.
Can you fit me in? It's Saturday night and they about to close in an hour. Can you fit me in? Can you see me tomorrow? Kind of thing. And I didn't really understand that part of it until I became an adult. But yeah, it made sense that back then it was kind of frowned upon in the corporate settings to walk in there with an afro,
Yeah.
to walk in there with your hair styled in any kind of natural way. You kind of had to look the part, like everybody else. So yeah, kudos to the Crown Act. I think it's amazing, and it's also I think the Crown Act is responsible for helping to liberate people in many different ways, not just in their hair. Allows them to be more of themselves and more comfortable in themselves, and maybe even advance further in their careers because they don't have to go to work pretending to be something. They can go being their authentic selves. So that's dope. That was the Crown Act. All right, last one off top. The future of ASSUAGE.
Ooh, the future of ASSUAGE. I don't know what the future of ASSUAGE is because I don't know what my future looks like. There's so many things that are starting to um, take a foot. Like, I never even dreamed I would be on set doing hair. So that has kind of pulled me away from the salon more often. I never dreamed that I would not be working in the salon, So um, having ASSUAGE and being on set, it's been a little complicated, and trying to make sure I have products that I created for them to make sure they have things to function. So I don't know. I know ASSUAGE will live on. I don't know if it will be this version. It might branch into a different type of version, but it will always be around because it's my love language. um, I am trying to uh, act like I know tech, and start doing like uh, classes on online to help people learn more about natural hair, business, avant-garde hairstyles, that kind of stuff, so that that part of the ASSUAGE legacy doesn't die. um, because I built this to help new generations of stylists come in and learn how to function in this industry because it can be challenging.
hmm Yeah, it definitely can be challenging. For with our people, particularly, it can be challenging, especially when it comes to the competition side of it. People seeing you as competition as opposed to a resource or a helping hand or somebody you could collaborate with in the future. So that's dope. That was the future of ASSUAGE, and hopefully we'll see ASSUAGE on a larger platform at some point with Miss Crystle Jones-Bond educating people around the world, not just in Middle Tennessee, with her knowledge and experience. Thank you very much for taking that ride with us. That was a fun journey. I hope you enjoyed the journey, but you did awesome on all of those questions and all of those topics. So thank you very much. I love that this segment so much because I get to learn a lot more about you as an individual. So thank you very much.
Live it.
All right. All